This old addition on the abandoned homestead was structurally unsound and had to go. And when you don't have much money, you hook it to the biggest truck you have and you pull. And if that doesn't work, you do it again.
Oh my God.
You just hook it to more stuff this time.
That is insane. I can't believe it's still standing.
After about 5 or 6 pulls, you start to see some results.
It wasn't moving. Oh, finally.
At this point, we tried to rip the whole thing off the roof entirely, but we ran the chain through the center of the roof and ended up just ripping a couple of the trusses in half. That's when Tyler and I had the idea of running the chain to the top peak closest to the cabin, and we had this happen.
Oh wow, look at that, look at that. Oh my gosh. And it's down.
4 years later, we're back up at the abandoned homestead, and Zach, who's now 16, wanted to take a swing at some of those old foundation blocks. We had already cleared all the debris from the addition, but the big pit still remained that made up the old crawl space, and surrounding it was a bunch of concrete cinder blocks.
Get it, get it. Yeah. We call this homestead fit. Getting the homestead set up.
Now I took over for him shortly after that, as my hands are a little older, a little tougher, and young 16-year-old hands can only handle a couple of swings before they get a blister or hot spot. You'll probably notice that all 5 kids help out with this project, along with Tila and I, throughout the entire video. We have a family policy that if you want to help, you're more than welcome to, but we'll never make you. I find that 9 times out of 10, when you give children the opportunity to be a beneficial part of the family, they jump at it. They typically want nothing more than to show their value and prove their worth, show off how many shovel loads of sand they can move, or how many blocks they can knock down with a sledgehammer. Though they are still children, so when you see them pop in and out of frame, it's probably because they went to go take a break, or go play in the yard, or catch a frog, because you can't get in the way of these things either. It's good for them to feel like part of the team, and feel like they're valuable, and they are valuable. If you've got 5 kids and each one does 5 minutes of work, that's 45 minutes of free labor, and I'm not going to turn that down, not when we have so much to do on this abandoned homestead deep in the woods. At this point, the entire construction process has only cost us about $500. $200 for sand, and another $300 to haul away all that junk in the beginning of the video. The rest is just good hard labor, and I find my labor to be the cheapest around because I enjoy doing it.
Hello, Juniper. Did you flatten all this sand by yourself?
No.
No? Who did it?
Zachary helped.
Zachary helped with all of our implements. We've got 2 dump truck loads of sand in here, and we've got 1, maybe 1.5 to go to fill in this pit. Once the pit's filled in, we're going to do a nice porch off the back of this cabin, looking out into this beautiful natural goodness.
There's a small town called Trout Lake nearby, and the owner of the IGA, Victoria, told us about Keith. Keith is a local guy who has his own dump truck and access to a sand pit for pennies on the dollar, which means when we asked him for a load of sand, it only cost us about $100. And we got it delivered in under an hour, which is incredible service and incredible price. Thanks, Keith. It's invaluable to build a community of people around you that rely on you and who you can rely on. Take this tractor, for example. This tractor belongs to my neighbor Al. We were more than happy to level that first load of sand by ourselves, and when he came over to see it, he was shocked that we didn't ask for help. He insisted that I use the tractor on that second load, and I'll be honest, I didn't put up much of a fight. We could have done this one by hand as well, but man, did that save us a lot of time, and I'm extremely thankful for his help. Here we are using a little bit of water to pack down that sand and make it a little easier to walk on so we're not constantly sinking into it. One of the few pieces of nice equipment that we do own is this 2004 Ford Excursion. It's 4-wheel drive and it's got the big diesel engine in it. A lot of people roll around these days in giant diesel 4x4 trucks and they have zero need for one. They have paved roads and nice trailers and plenty of resources that can mitigate needing to have such a machine. For us, that's not the case. This machine is used and it's used heavily. Whether it's hauling around 5 kids or pulling firewood or driving 3 hours to pick up $1,200 in pressure-treated lumber to build a porch, we're working the crap out of this truck. However, with gas prices these days, we try to do everything in one trip. We have to do a lot of planning to make sure we don't miss a single board, and this truck allows us to haul everything at once, which is pretty nice. This is about the time that black car on the left pulled up, and my buddy Tyler showed up, also sporting a bright orange shirt. This was not coordinated, it's just another example of how he and I have been on the same page since we were about 10 years old. 4 years ago, he was also in that video of us ripping down the addition. He was the guy running the chains and keeping safety for everybody else, while I was safely in the truck, ripping the thing down. In the past, he was more the risk taker and I was more the voice of reason. And for some reason, in the last couple of years, we've switched roles. Now I'm having a lot of fun and trying to take the risk, and he's the one talking me out of stupid ideas. He and Heather came over this day, and to be honest, they probably put more work into the porch than Tila and I did. But in our defense, we had spent the last day shoveling sand, so we were going a little bit slower than normal. And they came in with fresh muscles and fresh eyes and kept us on track. From what I understand, most couples, when they invite another couple over to their house, are there to exchange stories, have some drinks, have some dinner. In our case, we tell them to pick up a hammer, start swinging, put in a couple of screws. But to be fair, we head over and help them out with some projects as well. It's all part of building that community I was talking about earlier. You help others, they help you. Nobody can do it on their own. And if you're building a homestead, you're going to have people to rely on and be reliable to other people.
Hey, 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 check it out. That pit is gone. We knocked out all that block, put in 30 yards of sand, some of it by hand, some of it with help from Al's tractor. Now we still have a roof line there that we tarred to stop the leaking, and that'll be fixed when we roof that all the way up to the top. Put a brand new roof on it anyways. We built this porch here. You saw the time lapse. I absolutely love this. Now there's not a standard porch. Yes, I used all the right stuff, joist hangers, and we have concrete down there with the 4x4s, 36-inch wide steps from 2x12s, all mounted appropriately. I went a little overkill on the handrails so that people have a nice sturdy handrail, and I went way overkill on the tops of these railings. I always hate it when you go out to a deck and you try to set something on the railing and it's tippy, or it falls off, or it's not level, and you have this unusable space. Whereas if you just take a straight up 2x4, if you take a straight up 2x12 and screw it down on top, add some blocks underneath so it doesn't wiggle, you've got yourself a bench for anyone who can jump up there. You've got a place to rest your plates. You've got a place to rest. In our case, we've been setting some pistols here lately and shooting off into the ridge here. We got a nice big sand ridge, so we got a 25-yard range right outside the back porch of the cabin. Yes, more work needs to be done. Need to do some roofing. Need to renovate or tear down the woodshed. And now that we're out here, looks like I've got to re-side the garage, or side. This has never been sided there, and then re-side the garage here. For years, this has been an unusable space, and no one has seen the side of the garage, no one has seen back here, and subsequently it wasn't properly taken care of. We focused on the things that were obvious to us at the time, and now that we have a nice usable space back here, stuff like this is becoming more and more obvious. And that's the nature of renovation. As you dig deeper into a property or a bathroom or a wall, you're gonna find more things that need fixing. And that's not a downside. That's just part of the process. So the future video, probably next year, because I only get 1 month up here a year, you'll see us strip off this tin, maybe get the sawmill up and running, cut some boards, let them dry out, and do some nice wood siding for this in the future. But for now, I'm more than happy just to have the backyard back, have something that we can be proud of, rather than an impending disaster of an addition. But it's time that we got the cabin back to its original glory, which means downsizing it back to a cabin. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to see more work done on the abandoned homestead, trust me, I do too. It may not happen quickly. I've got about 8 or 9 videos that I filmed here in this July, but I won't be back here till next July to film some more. Between now and then, I'm going to continue to teach homesteading stuff. I'm going to continue to teach wilderness survival and start building up our capabilities so that when we do move into this property eventually, we hit the ground running. That's all I've got for you today. Take care.